Hello. Hi, everybody. Let me know in the comment section if you can see me, if you can hear me. Um, I am seeing the comments. I'm seeing lots of good things. I'm seeing hi from Buffalo, New York, hi from Indiana. Can give me a thumbs up or leave a let me know uh, if you can see or hear me. Or hear me. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm seeing I can see you and hear me. Oh my gosh. We're not having tech issues. I shouldn't have said that. That was way too soon to say that, right? But I am very, very excited. Ah, yay. So people are from all over the place. So yes, please let me know where you're from. I love that. And plus, my other thing that I love to know is what's the weather like? It has been, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a girly that doesn't mind the heat. I don't even mind the humidity too much, but it has been ridiculous this last week here in North Carolina. It has been 100 degrees. We've had triple digits, and the humidity has been, it's like walking around in warm soup. Oh my gosh. Ohio, 115 degrees. Yikes. That is disgusting. That is like the worst. Arizona, hot as usual. Vegas, that makes sense. Brazil, Virginia, Colorado, Louisiana, that's got to be hot. Massachusetts, Alabama, Cleveland, Ontario, Canada, Nevada. Oh my goodness, yay. Yay, yay, yay. Oh my goodness, Paige says it's raining. What I wouldn't give for a little rain right now. Hot and humid, D says the weather's awful. It really, really is. California, it's in the mid 80s. That sounds really nice right now. 93 degrees and hot in Utah. Oof, 86 and humid in Buffalo, New York. Colorado, Canada, damp, cold, and raining. That sounds like the dream right now. I would love for it to be damp, cold, and raining right now. Yeah, I think there was a huge heat wave that swept across almost half of the United States. We're in late June right now, and 100 degrees, we'll get that at the end of July, August, but this is pretty early to have it this hot. San Francisco Bay, oh, the Netherlands, North Central Texas, Ireland. Oh my goodness, that is a place that I've always wanted to go. Oh, overcast and 68 degrees. Oh man, that sounds so nice. Atlanta, Italy. Wow, Italy is another place I want to go. Now, wait a minute. Those of you in Ireland and Italy, it's got to be pretty late there. You guys are staying up late. Ohio, Wisconsin, California, Monroe, North Carolina. That's pretty close to me. East Tennessee, West Virginia, Southern Ohio, Arizona, another Arizona, Belgium. Wow. Pittsburgh, Somerville, Tennessee. Where is that? My husband and I both went to college in Knoxville, and then his mom lives in the Nashville area, but I don't think I know where Somerville, Tennessee is. Yeah, Canada. It's been so humid, it's like breathing water. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you all so much for being here. And I will say that this is just making me so happy. I have this new streaming platform called StreamYard, and this is just amazing. I can see all the comments. I don't know if any of you have been here before. We had so many issues. So I appreciate those of you who actually even came back after all of that because it was just a nightmare. Oh my goodness. Everybody. Well, there's a few of you that are saying that it's nice and cool, but ah, but it is very warm. So if I look a little a little dewy, it's because I'm hot. I am hot, hot, hot right now. So, all right. So, I've got some really fun things for us to do today. I want to start off by showing you a couple of new things that I have. My whips right now are the exact same that they've been for I don't know how long. I'm still working on Mrs. Humphrey, and I am working on the Mr. and Mrs. Humphrey's blanket. And oh, I will say this one thing that I decided to do. I will show you what I have done on the Mr. and Mrs. Humphrey blanket. This is going to be a bit of a disaster because I have, you'll see why. So, oh, let me get this all. Okay. So, this is what I'm working on right now. I'm calling these my little quilt blocks, my little crochet quilt blocks, and I'm going to do 4 of them, and then I'm going to make 4 more, 4 more, 4 more. But what I decided to do was this was going painstakingly slow. And what I decided to do was start doing like a oh my gosh, the word has like slipped my mind. Assembly line. I've started an assembly line of just making the little center of the square, and then I do in the next step, and I'm going to see if this helps me to get this done a little bit more quickly. Because I'll be honest, if something feels like it's dragging on and on and on, like it just feels like it's taking me forever, I really lose steam. And so I'm hoping this assembly line system of doing it is going to give me that little boost and make me feel like I'm actually making progress. Um, Yes, I am making you know what? That's a cute idea. Brick by Brick said, "Are you going to make a tiny blanket for Mr. and Mrs. Humphrey?" That would actually be a really, really cute idea. Um, so I would like to know in the comment section if you do assembly line for things like this where you're making one little thing over and over and over again, or do you like to just make the whole thing? Because the rest of this, you know, teeny tiny little part of the blanket, I made one square, the whole thing. And then I made the next square and the next one. And it just felt like this is going to take forever. So that's when I thought, you know what? Let's see if doing these little assembly line, little sections, if that's going to make a difference. I will say I've made quite a few of these, like 24 or 36 of them. I have quite a few done. Um, Yeah, batch work it. Yes, people are saying they do the assembly line. Um, yes. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that this might end up being a really good thing. And someone el okay, Allison said, "I do the assembly line because it's a bit more easily transported," and I hadn't thought about that. That's actually so true. Um, yeah, so I'm going to experiment with this, and of course, I'll keep you updated because I really do need that. I need to feel like I'm making progress. If I feel like I am moving at a snail's pace, it's discouraging. I just feel I don't have the motivation as much unless if I feel like I'm making progress. That's probably half the reason why I love making amigurumi is that they're quick. You make a leg and you feel accomplished and it only took an hour or something. I like that. So, um, yeah, so many good comments. Yeah. And I think it actually depends on the kind of project you're working on. Some of you were saying that you were doing that ripple granny blanket. Obviously, you really couldn't do an assembly line for that. You just have to do row after row after row. But for this, oh, Karen Ware said, I'm doing a little assembly line for the Janie Crow fruit garden blanket. That one is so incredibly gorgeous. Oh my goodness. I bet it's going to be stunning when you're done. Yes. Um, yes. So, my next thing that I want to share with you guys is I have 2 new books that people sent to me. And the first one is one that I'm really, really excited about. And this is Amigurumi Critters by Amy Ting of Curious Papaya. This one literally just came out, and she is the sweetest amigurumi maker. Her little projects are some of the cutest little toys that I've ever seen. They have so much personality, and what I really love about this one is that there are some really simple projects in here that would be good for beginner-ish people, and then she has more advanced projects, but she also has some tips in the front that actually are super, super, super helpful. One of these right here In the book, she is talking about the right and wrong side of the stitches for amigurumi, and I get this question all the time. So, if you make amigurumi, or even if you just make a magic ring and you start crocheting, it always creates a little bowl. But what happens many, many times is that little bowl creates the wrong side of the stitches is facing you, and the right side of the stitches is inside, and people get really confused about that. And so she actually has a photo here of both the outside and the inside and how to see it. And I thought that is brilliant. That is such a fantastic thing to show because it really is something that as a beginner, it can be very confusing. And I get this question so regularly. And then I'm going to show you some of the projects that I think are so cute. What she also has done is she's broken the book up into difficulty levels. So the beginning are more simple and then it gets more advanced. But oh my goodness, look at little Joey. I think that he is so cute. He's a little grumpy chick. He is, oh no, he's the grumpy chick's boyfriend. Oh my goodness. I love amigurumi, and I love when you can have, like, a little simple project like this. Oh, he's over here. Little simple project, and it just has so much personality, and that's what I think Amy does so well. Okay, this is my next favorite. Merlin the Frog. I still am trying to figure out how to show things. Okay, here we go. Look at how adorable. And these are actually super tiny with the yarn that she's using, but gosh, you could do these in so many different yarns. I just think that is so cute. I love frogs. And finally, this is the last one, and it's the one that I think is absolutely the cutest thing I've ever seen. And I just think that her whole vision behind this one is so cute. It's Perry the pug. He's in a little bathtub. Oh my goodness, look at that with all the little suds. Of course, I think she just used polyfill stuffing for that, but this was genius. That is just the cutest. Yeah. Anyway, this is a great book. It just came out and she is so sweet. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, make sure to because she just makes the cutest little videos and I'm always so impressed with how she just comes up with these ideas. I'm just like, how do people come up with these ideas? Oh, I know. They're just so cute. All of these are so cute. And then this other book is actually so amazing. It's actually perfect for this time of year. And it's Crochet Flowers. And this is by Sierra Merrill of Sierra's Stitches. This one is beautiful. And what I love about this one is that the progress photos in here there are so many. And she has, of course, I love sunflowers. My mom has the tallest sunflowers I've ever seen. They're like 10 feet tall in her yard growing in a pot. And then another one that I love flowers. I have the most gorgeous hydrangeas blooming right now. The hibiscus. Oh, I hope you could see this on the camera. Isn't that one beautiful? And then the other one that I love are pansies. I always plant these. I plant them a lot of times in the fall because where I live in North Carolina, you can plant them in the fall and they'll actually last all the way until spring. Yeah, this one, yeah, you could keep these alive. These are the kind of flowers you can keep alive. And she also has some really creative ways to make these into just beautiful bouquets. And I just thought it's just such a beautiful book. I love things like this. These can be so much fun to just make if you want to just use up some scrap yarn and or you want to give something special to somebody and brighten their day. It's just a really fun book. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share with you, and this is just for those of you who love Furls crochet hooks or you are interested in getting some, they just had their 13th birthday, which is pretty crazy, and they're having huge sales right now. So if you've been looking at a Furls, this might be the time to get one if that's what you're looking for. But they did send me two of these, and I'm giving them to my daughter because she has just gotten super, super into crochet and she doesn't have She has some, Clover Amour. I finally talked her into buying the Clover Amour hooks, and she was like, "Wow, I had no idea how great these hooks were gonna be." I was like, "Absolutely." Yeah. And so these are their, I think they're called the Streamline Aura, and they just have all of these gorgeous colors. Yeah, this one is really pretty, and then they also have the, a matte finish. So they have the polished and the matte. I just thought those were so beautiful, and I know that my daughter is just going to she's gonna love them. Although, what's interesting is that she's a lefty, but she learned how to crochet right-handed because it was just easier for her. Yeah, and I had they sent me the little leather case. Yeah, it's those are really fun, and if you like furls now, those are the kind of crochet hooks that people either you love them because they are a weighted hook, and so they're very different than most other hooks. But then they did send me these cute little, it's a little, friendship bracelet, and one says my name and the other says Furls, and I just thought that was so cute. I will admit that, I thought these were candy bracelets. And I did, take a little taste and realized, "Oh, that's not candy." So, yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. So, um, yes, yeah, I'm seeing in the comments that some people female firefighter, oh my goodness, you're a firefighter and oh, no, wait, I thought female firefighter said she was a lefty, but that was the comment before. Yes, Allison is a lefty, but crochets right-handed. Oh, thank you, Jana. I hope I'm saying your Yana. Thank you for sharing that. Just learned the hard way that the matte finish doesn't allow the yarn to glide as smoothly as the polish hook. That's very, very good to know. I wondered about that. Yeah, that's very good to know. So, if you really love that really smooth metal, I probably would go with the polished if that's what you like. Um, yeah. Um, Stephanie Loveridge said, "Would you ever consider doing a video testing different wools from different countries and comparing them, like New Zealand wool, UK wool, Australian, and American?" That would be a fun video. I would love to do that. We had a yarn shop here in my town that was owned by two sisters from New Zealand, and they had a lot of interesting yarns in their shop. They had Australian and New Zealand wools. They did move out of the area to a different area, but they stayed here in the US, but, I did buy some. I still have some around here somewhere. Um, but we have a fun game. And this one is a little bit different. Well, let me just tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a little quiz. And then we are going to do a little topic time. There's a little topic I would like for us to discuss. And then at the end, if you want to save your questions for then, and then we'll have a time of question and answer. And yeah. So, all right, get ready. I wish I had music, dramatic game show music. But we're focusing tonight on celebrity crochet quiz questions, and I thought these were really fun. So some of these people I didn't even know were crocheters because I had to do my homework and look all this up and make sure I was getting the questions right. But I thought this was actually really fun. Okay, so this is for those of us who are around, we're old enough to remember who this actress was, but Betty Davis was known for her fierce acting style and unforgettable eyes. But how did she like to unwind? A, poker tournaments, B, collecting antique spoons, C, crocheting, or D, bird watching. Now, this is an easy one. You should get this one. So, A, B, C, or D. What do you think? Yeah, I think everybody probably knows the answer to this one. Yes, it's C. And I had no idea that she was a crocheter, but Betty Davis, the legendary Golden Age actress, was known to crochet on set to stay relaxed between takes. And I thought, wow, that is so interesting. I would not have taken her for a crocheter. Okay, so this next one is a little bit of an easy one, but Vanna White has a line of yarn with what popular brand? So Vanna White from Wheel of Fortune has a line of yarn with what popular brand? Is it Red Heart, A, B, Lion Brand, C, Bernat, or D, Karen? Which one do you think? I am seeing a lot of Lion Brand. Yes, of course, it's Lion Brand. It's her Vanna's choice. And yes, she was, or I'm thinking, I think they retired. Did they retire from Wheel of Fortune? But my gosh, my grandmother loved Wheel of Fortune, and I grew up watching it. And I love that she was an avid crocheter. And the other thing that I really, actually, I found out that it was in 1994 they started Vanna's Choice. So I thought that was pretty incredible. And a portion of the proceeds goes to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which I think that's so amazing. I love that she's using her platform to help children with cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. I think that's really wonderful. Okay. So, oh, only Pat Sajak retired. So, who's doing Wheel of Fortune now? So she's still on there, but wow, I had no idea. Interesting. I got to get a little water here. Oh, Ryan Seacrest, really? I have to watch that. Interesting. I had no idea. Wow. Okay, question number 3. Now this is another person I had no idea this person was a crocheter, but Deborah Messing once donated a crocheted square for what kind of project? So was it a Broadway themed quilt, B, a celebrity charity blanket, C, a museum textile exhibit, or D, a crochet world record attempt? I know I love Deborah Messing. She is so funny. She is so funny. So A was a Broadway themed quilt, B a celebrity charity blanket, C a museum textile exhibit, or D a crochet world record attempt. Yes, it was B a celebrity charity blanket. So she, if you don't know Deborah Messing, she is from the show Will and Grace. Well, she's been in a lot of things, but that's one of the ones that I think she got pretty famous for that one. But she's a lifelong or a long time crocheter. um, yeah, so she donated a crocheted square for this celebrity charity blanket that they were doing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I just love her. She has the most beautiful hair. That gorgeous red hair. Oh, okay. This next person I had no idea was a crocheter. So Katy Perry once joked that crocheting makes her feel like what? A grandma in disguise. B, a crafty pop diva, C, the biggest nana on the block, or D, a yarn wizard. So, a grandma in disguise, a crafty pop diva, the biggest nana on the block, or D, a yarn wizard. So, this one's a little bit harder because I mean, you could really, it could be any of these, could be the answer. Any of them could, but who knew that Katy Perry was a crocheter? I had zero clue. But the answer is C, the biggest nana on the block. So Katy Perry told Alan Carr on his Chatty Man show, I do a bit of crocheting now. I know I'm the biggest nana on the block. And she said she gets really excited by the activity and indulges the hobby whenever she gets the chance. I thought, wow, Katy Perry is a crocheter. Oh, I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, now we have this next one, another person that I had no idea was a crocheter. Eva Longoria used crochet to help her do what during long filming days on Desperate Housewives? So maybe you know that show. I think it was in the early 2000s. I loved that show. It was so fun. So she used crochet to help her do what? A, stay awake, B, focus and relax, C, learn her lines, or D, decorate her trailer. So let's see what people are saying. I'm seeing some A's, some B's. Somebody said, "Sorry, my grandbaby keeps hitting the keyboard." Oh, I wasn't keeping up with all the answers. Okay, here we go. So I have a lot of different ones, and yes, this one could be any of these, but it's B, to focus and relax. So Eva Longoria reportedly used crochet to stay focused during long filming hours on Desperate Housewives. While it's not confirmed if she learned how to crochet on set, it is said that she often worked on projects in her trailer to help her unwind. What word is that? Unwind and stay centered. I just think that's so cool. It's like, wow, celebrities are just like us. Okay, now this next one I should have known. I should have known this next person was a crocheter, but I did not. And it's Aretha Franklin, was known for her powerhouse vocals. But what surprising craft helped shape her iconic 1970s style? Well, obviously, this is going to be a really easy answer. Is it A, knitting, B, beading, C, embroidery, or D, crocheting? Let's see. I had absolutely, oh, wait, what's going on? Okay. Yes, of course, it's D. That was a giveaway. But let me ask you this. This is kind of a little bonus here. Do you know what she really enjoyed crocheting? She was kind of known for crocheting one thing in particular. Do you know what it is? I thought this was actually really interesting, and I didn't know this. Oh gosh, there are ads. I had no idea. There are ads running. Okay, somebody said hats, dresses, shawls, blankets, scarves, halter tops, hats. So I learned that she crocheted berets, and that was like a big thing for her. And she did a lot of that back in the 1970s. And she wore it on the show Soul Train. Now I'm old enough to remember Soul Train, and I remember that that was so fun. I think it was on Saturday mornings. Um, and that she learned from her neighbors who taught her how to crochet, and while she was crocheting, she would think of those people who taught her, and I thought that was so nice, and her favorite stitch apparently was the pineapple stitch. Wow, I don't know that stitch. I know. Soul Train was so fun. I'm so glad there are other people who remember Soul Train. I am so sorry that these ads are knocking you off. I don't know what the problem is with that. Okay, um okay. We will, I don't think I can change it right now, but I will definitely change it for next time. Okay. So this next one is actually really interesting, and this will be for any country music fans out there. So, why does Trisha Yearwood say she likes to crochet in the evenings? Is it A, it reminds her of her mom? B, it helps her stay off her phone. C, it helps her from late night snacking. Or D, she makes gifts for her fans. So we're getting different answers here. A, B, C. Yep, a lot of different answers here. And I thought that this was really interesting is that it keeps her from late night snacking. And this is what I learned is that country music star Trisha Yearwood says crocheting helps her keep her hands busy in the evenings so she's less likely to snack, and she credits it with helping her to lose weight, and she also finds it relaxing and nostalgic and reminds her of her mom. I thought that was so that's a really interesting tactic. Now that's generally when I crochet as well is in the evenings, and I will say that I don't snack in the evenings. I kind of have done that for quite a long time now. I but and half of it probably is because I'm crocheting and I don't want to get food and crumbs all over my crocheting. So I had never thought about that as a way to help somebody to stop snacking late at night. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Did you know Rihanna is a crocheter? I did not know that. Wow. It's so incredible. Okay, so this is our last quiz question. Our last quiz question. Now, this is one of my favorite actresses, and I had no idea that she was a crocheter. So, Meryl Streep is known to crochet, but she's also an avid knitter and brought her knitting to the set of the 2008 film Doubt. So this is more of a knitting related question, but she is a crocheter. But I found this actually pretty interesting. What handmade item did she wear in the movie? A crocheted headscarf A, B, a knitted shawl, C, a lace trimmed cardigan, or D, a granny square tote? A, B, C, or D? Oh, Kelly said that where did that comment go? Oh, it also aid in stopping smoking. Oh, that is really oh, yeah, somebody else said it helped them quit smoking. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yes, it was a knitted shawl. She actually made it and then wore it in the movie. I thought that was amazing. I absolutely love her. It said that Meryl Streep has said that fiber arts like crochet and knitting help her relax and create something beautiful. And on the set of Doubt, she wore a shawl she knitted herself and even taught her co-star Amy Adams how to knit as a way to bond and calm nerves between takes. I thought that was so interesting. Meryl Streep is absolutely amazing. I love her so much. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything that I didn't think was just just amazing. Yeah. Okay. So this next topic, we're going to just this is our little topic section. And I really want to talk about taking care of ourselves. And this has been on my mind a lot lately. I think I turned 50 last summer, so I'm about to turn 51. And the idea of taking care of my body is it's just in the forefront of my mind right now. And I think that I have found that once I started crocheting and really got into it, I found that I was sitting a lot more frequently than I had before. And I think that, oh, somebody's calling me. Sorry. So I I lost my train of thought there for a minute. Oh, I was sitting. I was just sitting for long periods of time and I found myself not being as active. And although I didn't really I've maintained about the same weight for most of the time, but I will say that I've started having some back issues and some, just I think some of it is just, just get I'm sorry, my daughter keeps calling me. Gonna have to. I'm like, I'm doing a live. I'm doing a YouTube live. Anyway, I I'm noticing some things that it could be related to crochet. But I do think that the sitting and sitting for long periods of time is not good. It's something that I think those of us who love to crochet and obviously my job is sitting at this table with this computer. I am sitting for a long period of time. And I've always been pretty active and walked and did some yoga and things, but I'm taking it a lot more seriously now. And not just as a, well, it'll help me not to gain any weight. It's a way for me to try to move my body more. And I think we as crocheters I think that we can struggle with that a little bit. I know that I've talked to other crocheters and it's so relaxing and it's so nice to sit and we can crochet, but I think sometimes that can result in us not moving our bodies as much. So, here are the things that I'm really trying to focus on doing. And when I had tendinitis quite bad several years ago, and I was really good about stretching, like doing these stretches with my forearms and my fingers and my wrists. I was really good at doing it. And then once that tendinitis healed up, I was like, forget about it. I'm not doing it anymore. But I'm trying to incorporate really stretching, taking breaks when I crochet and not just sitting there and grabbing my phone, but actually stretching stretching both my wrists up and down, rolling my shoulders a little bit, rolling my neck around. And I think that that's one really good thing because you can do that just sitting down. You don't have to just, get up and move around. But another thing that I actually really think is that by sitting a lot, I have discovered in myself is that my hamstrings are getting quite tight. And I think that this is the reason why I've started having some lower back issues. You're sitting in that position. Sometimes my legs are out, but many times they're just bent, and that is keeping those hamstrings really, really tight, and it's pulling on that lower back because the idea that your whole body is one continuous part. We do have separate parts, but they are all connected. The old song, the knee bone's connected to the whatever, all the different things connected together. And so it's just been making me think about that more and more and more. And so I have been focusing so much on not just stretching my hands and my neck and my shoulders, but also my hamstrings, even my calves. I'm stretching my back. I'm trying to do all of these things to just feel a little bit better because I think we have to counteract all of that sitting. Um, yes, I think, for people like me, I am so like I get really focused on one thing and I have a hard time going away from that. So I'm forcing myself to make these little changes. Um, I am walking a lot more and I think that is fantastic. I'm really focusing on exercising and taking care of my body in ways that I can do it into my 80s. Like I'm not going to do any exercises that I don't think I could do throughout my 50s, into my 60s, 70s, 80s, and hopefully beyond there. So walking is really important to me, but I also think that that contributes to my tight hamstrings. So I am also incorporating doing some yoga with Adriene videos on YouTube. They're free videos. And I just love her. And many of her little videos are 15 to 20 minutes long, which, in my opinion, is the perfect time. And it really is helping me get some of that flexibility back. And I can tell in my back feels so much better. About 2 weeks ago, I was really like, "Oh my goodness, my back hurts so bad." And, just focusing on, "Listen, you've gotta stretch. You have got to stretch your body." So yeah, somebody else said, "I love yoga with Adriene." She's amazing. Um, oh, somebody else used the Volare pillow. That's a really good idea. I've seen those pillows. They look like the nursing pillows, those boppies, but they were created, I think, for gamers initially and then realized that they'd be fantastic for crafters. Um, oh, Sherry, thank you for sharing that. She said, I wish I had done all that when I was 50. I'm 85 now and have so many aches and pains that could have been avoided. Oh, bless your heart. That's really where my mindset is at right now is I want to feel good at 80 and 85, and I think that's so amazing that you're here and you're crocheting and I just love this. Yes, Knit My Bit said, "Same, menopause has changed my body so much. I'm focusing again, trying to on my body, stretching and walking, and my boxer Muna helps." Aw. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm in that phase of life where if you are a lot younger or you are a man and you're in here, this might be a little TMI, but I think if you're younger, you actually really do need to educate yourself on this because I didn't understand or know how much perimenopause and menopause was going to change my life. Did not have any idea. So I think it's so good that people are being more open to talk about it now. And I think that we have to take care of our bodies. Yes, it is so fun to just sit and crochet, and that's what we want to do. But really, yeah. Sam said, I struggle with walking my dog due to my disabilities, but I do when I can, so I'm not sitting all day, every day. Yes. And, I have a son with physical disabilities, and it can be so challenging to get your body moving, but it's probably even more important for you to make sure that however you can be physical and however you can stay active, it's so, so important. Um, yeah, working from home makes it yeah, Morgan said working from home can be difficult. Yeah, because you can just sit and get a little snack and yeah. Um, yeah, you guys are just putting in so many great comments, you know. Um, there's yeah, so many of us are working from home or we're crocheting and we're doing things, but I'm telling you, it is so important and I highly recommend this is what I think the beauty of YouTube is that there if you don't wanna do yoga, there are Pilates videos, there are really low intensity exercise videos, or another one that I love is Grow with Jo. She is so fun, and she's does more like what I would call, like, aerobics videos, but she's getting people up and moving and dancing, and she is so much fun, and I think especially when you're in this stage of life and you are getting those aches and pains and you're having hot flashes and your energy is really low, sometimes it's really hard to want to get up and move. And I'm just really forcing myself right now. Um, yeah. So thank you all for talking about this. Yep. Somebody has a standing desk. My daughter has a standing desk with a walking pad. I think that is such a great idea. Um, yeah. Yeah. So many are saying, yep, lots of, people, yeah, have issues with, all the hormonal changes. Oh, yes, Catherine, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, I listen to her all the time. She is so amazing. She helped me so much. Um Yeah, my husband and my son go to the chiropractor very frequently, but I have just not wanted to go because they make you wanna go all the time in the beginning, and I just am like, "Ugh, I don't wanna have to do that," but I'm at the point that I may start doing that. We have a great chiropractor who all they do is adjust your back, and it's helped my husband and my son, and, yeah, yep, so many good comments here. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of that. I think this is something that we as crocheters need to talk about more. We love talking about the yarn. We love talking about the projects that we're making, but I think we need to talk about how to take care of ourselves so that we can continue to crochet for a really long time and feel good. Um, yeah, walking is a great way to inspire projects, you know? Um, Yeah. There are some great stretches for tendinitis. I would even just go onto YouTube. I think that's the beauty of YouTube is that you can just Google these things and you'll see so many different stretches and depending on where your tendinitis is. Um, yes, yeah. So many people talking about all the different things. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, so now I thought we would take the next little time to just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Just put your questions in the comment section and I will do my best to answer them. And if I'm not able to answer them, hopefully other people will be able to answer. For hexagon cardigans, would it be best to do slip stitches to connect the two panels or sew them together? I have not made a hexagon cardigan. Oh, Jennifer Lopez, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I have not done a hexagon cardigan. So if somebody in the comments could help answer that one, that'd be awesome. Oh, watching from the Bronx. Oh, wow. I always find that people who live in like New York, like it's so like, wow. Just celebrated my 80th birthday, June 1st. Happy birthday. And I love crocheting. You've also had 3 heart attacks. Oh my goodness. Bless your heart. Um, oh, Virginia said, always elevate your feet a little bit. Put a stool under. If you remain too much time sitting, that 90-degree angle on your legs does not help the circulation. Okay, that's really good to know. How do I keep motivation in the middle of a huge project? Wow. Um, I had that issue when I knit a Norwegian cardigan and it took me forever, and it was such a huge undertaking for me personally because it was very challenging, and I find knitting can be really slow. It's a lot slower than crochet, and I ended up stalling out on the project. I completely just fell apart and I put it away for quite a while. And the thing that really helped me was that I just decided that I was only going to focus on that project. And sometimes I try to tell myself, if I will focus for 4 weeks and I don't touch any other projects, by the end of that 4 weeks, it'll be done. And somehow that's how I can motivate myself to get through a project a lot of times or get through something that's hard is if I think about, okay, all I have to do is get through this for the next 2 hours. I can do anything for the next 2 hours. Or thinking about like, okay, in this next 4 weeks, if I only focus on this and I set a timer and or I give myself a little checklist, like, did you do it every single day? Do like a little habit tracker on your phone or something like that where you can check it off and feel like I'm getting it done every single day. And but it helps me to give myself a timeline because if I think something is just going to drag on forever, I don't want to do it. Um, Caroline said, "Did you get anything from the Furls birthday sale this year?" They sent me, I don't know if you saw in the beginning, they sent me 2 of their Aura Streamline hooks. I will show those again in case you missed them. They sent me the matte finish one, and then they sent me the polished one, and these are going to go to my daughter. So, she's gotten really into crochet, and I already have a gazillion crochet hooks. I would like to keep these, but I would rather her have them because, you know, it's just fun to get, I wanna encourage her new hobby. I wanna keep her going with that. Um, what do you think is the easiest and hardest part of learning to knit as a crocheter? I think a lot of learning how to knit is easy in the sense that the construction of a lot of things is so similar that since you're already a crocheter, it's like, oh, that makes sense. I know how to do that. Like, even though it's a different way to do something, I think wrapping your head around how things are constructed just, I think it makes it so much easier if you go from crochet to knitting. I think the most challenging part for most people is learning how to hold two needles and the yarn at the same time. Because with crochet we have one hook and then we have the yarn in the other hand. So I think that's probably one of the harder things. I think also for knitting, correcting mistakes is more challenging, and it's another thing to have to learn, and I think for us crocheters, doing correcting mistakes is pretty simple. We just we just rip it out. But with knitting, there are so many different ways to correct a mistake. Sometimes you don't even have to unknit, and you don't typically just rip it out. I am not an expert knitter, but I think that's for me the most challenging thing as a crocheter that became a knitter is that just correcting mistakes can be really frustrating to me. I'm just like more impatient. Um, um, with amigurumi, do you turn out the arms and legs? I'm not sure I know what you mean about turning out the arms and legs. If you can put it in the comments what you mean more by that. Um, will you make crochet patterns for clothing for your adorable amigurumi patterns that have knitted clothing? Probably not. Just to be completely honest, I'm working on doing a lot more amigurumi that only have crocheted clothing. So this is temporarily, oh, I can't figure out how to turn her. Here we go. This is temporarily Mrs. Humphrey, and she has completely removable crocheted clothing. So that is going to be kind of my focus going forward. And I'm just stopping the knitted clothing in general. Um, I just saw that Claire Montgomery has come out with a new Granny Square collection. This one has flowers on it. Oh, I have seen, is it the little card deck? Um, I don't have it, but they look absolutely beautiful. Can I blame you for the $55 I spent on furls today? You absolutely can blame me. I will take the blame. Yes. Have you thought about making a book? Um, Not no, not really. I think I am the slowest designer on God's green earth. I'm really, really slow. I would have to get much quicker. I don't when I look at these books and I'm like, "How? How did you do all of these different patterns in, a relatively short amount of time?" That would be that I'm very impressed by them. Oh, I think this is, okay, someone is asking about the compression gloves, and I saw that comment come up, so that would be good to know about the compression gloves. Bum. Oh man. Lexi said, I'm scrolling Etsy for patterns and all I see is AI generated thumbnails for patterns. This makes me so sad. I just want to see what it really looks like. Ooh, yeah. AI on Etsy is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. And you know what? This is actually the saddest part to me, is that there are actually some decent and good little crochet patterns that are on Etsy, and then they generate an AI, little cover photo for it, and then you can scroll through and look through some of the pictures, and you'll see that, "Oh, actually, this is a crocheted little." I saw one especially for this little Highland cow, and I thought, "Why are you using that AI generated?" Because it's gonna turn a lot of people off, and the actual crocheted Highland cow was cute enough that why don't you just use that? I hope that Etsy is gonna start cracking down on that because it's really getting to be a problem, and I just see it popping up more and more and more on Facebook, especially on Facebook, on Pinterest, that's annoying. It's just I don't know what we're going to do about it, but I think that's one thing that we have to educate ourselves on as crocheters is recognizing AI. The only problem is AI is just going to get better. So, I don't know what we're going to do about it. I don't know, but I don't wanna come across as, I'm not one of the people who think that civilization is going to crumble and go away because of AI. Every time new technology comes out, people as a whole get really, really crazy. I remember reading something about when the radio became a thing, and that was the brand new technology, and so many people were talking about how it was going to ruin kids, that they were just going to be ruined for the rest of their lives because they were listening to the radio too often. Um, I do think AI is a little bit different, and I think that, there's a potential for a lot of good to come out of AI. I truly believe that. It helps me with menu planning. I can help it to ask it to help me schedule my day and help me to see, especially when I'm trying to get a video organized, like what order should I put things in. So I think there are some very good things about it. It's just like anything, people are going to use it for their own gains. It's just too bad. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Um, have I ever done free form crochet? Absolutely not. That stresses me out. What did I just? Now, sometimes I think designing is a little bit like free form, maybe because you're not using a pattern, but I already know what I want it to look like. But, yeah, that is so not my personality type. Recently just did the Myers-Briggs, whole battery of testing to see what my personality type was, and I think it was an ISTJ, and when I read through it, I was like, "Yeah, that is 100% me." I like the rules. That's why I like crochet. There are rules. There's patterns. You do things in a certain order. So, I really admire people who can do free form crochet and your brain works like that, but I that is just not me. Um, Aw, thank you. Insert name here from Canada. That was so sweet. Have you tried Peek-a-Pow? Oh, yes, I'm a Peek-a-Pow lover. I bought her first book in January of 2018. It's one of the first amigurumi things I ever made was Victor Frog. I'll be talking a little bit more about that in my upcoming video next Saturday. Um, Elise talking about chiropractor. I love Alex Tubio's YouTube channel. Interesting. Cat rescuer. Oh, I'm a cat rescuer too. Watching from Australia. Hello from Germany. Love your lighting in your studio. What kind of lights do you use? Actually, I have a couple of different ones. They're box lights, just studio box lights that I bought on Amazon. They're not very expensive, but some of you may know, some of you may not know. I'm in my basement laundry room. Like my washing machine and dryer are right over there, and there are no lights at all in this room. There's no natural lights, nothing. So I have to have studio lighting in here. What is your favorite crochet hook size? Well, it depends on what I'm working on, but for amigurumi right now, a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook is my favorite. But I will say that whatever my favorite is today, it's going to change. I love to experiment. And what I do, okay, for example, I eat the same breakfast every single day. I eat the same lunch every single day, and I have for several years. Now, there's going to come a day when all that stops and I will find a new thing to be obsessed with. But my I will be obsessed for a long period of time. So right now I'm in my 2.5 millimeter crochet hook phase. So we'll see. So question, what is your favorite amigurumi yarn currently? Currently, it is Yarn Art Jeans. It's the number 2 weight. I love it. It comes in so many colors. It creates the cutest toys like this one is one that I made. This is I can't remember the designer's name, but she's on Etsy. This is the Frida Kahlo. This was made with that yarn. It can be very vibrant. It comes in so many gorgeous colors. Um, I used it for Petunia Petal Mouse. Just creates cute little small toys. I just love that it comes in so many colors. It's quite affordable. It's not easy to get here if you're in the US. I order it from hobbinussyarns.com, but you can buy it several different places. Julia Roberts knits while waiting to go back on set. Oh, that's so cool. I love Julia Roberts. Um, a lot of people are helping out with the hexagon tutorial. Sue B said, I'm new to crochet and want to crochet amigurumi characters. What book should I start with? Um, I think one of the best things you can do is start with video tutorials. I always think it's great if you can move on and learn how to read patterns, but I do think for a lot of crochet projects, especially for amigurumi, if you start with a basic amigurumi tutorial, just learn the basics, then you could move on to all the different books. There are so many. I love Animal Friends of Peek-a-Pow. It's one of my favorites. But there are so many that will have some beginner projects, but that's really the way I would go. I have bicycle pedals for exercise while sitting. Oh my goodness, that is genius. Oh, what safety eyes do you recommend and where do you get accessories? So, safety eyes, I love these 2 companies. It's called 6060 Eyes and Glass Eyes Online. Both of them have fantastic safety eyes. I found them to be really high quality, and what I like about them is that the actual eyes really aren't that different than anything you could buy on Amazon, but the backs are very different. They're a lot sturdier. I just like those. Okay. Um, up. How do you measure or calculate how much yarn you would need for a big bedspread if you would like to make one in one piece? Oh man, I have not made a crocheted blanket that large. But there, if you go and just do a Google, I know you can just search for it on Google, like how many yards do I need for this size blanket? Like if you wanted a king size blanket, how many yards of yarn? And it'll usually give you a range, and you'll find a little table for it'll be like, this is how many for a baby blanket. This is how many for, queen size, king, full. So I would start there. Um, Mary said, Elise, would you please do a crochet frog and toad? I love the set you made, but don't knit. Okay, so that is frog and toad right here. These are knitted, but This is from the pattern from Frog and Cast, but she has a crochet pattern now for them. So you can actually crochet this little pair right here, Frog and Toad, and, so her name is Frog and Cast, so you can just look her up. Um, would you do a video on sewing amigurumi together? So in my, I have several tutorials for different projects, like, where'd she go? Oh, the like Petunia Petal Mouse and some of my other ones, and I show you exactly how to sew on those different pieces. So I don't have a separate one, but it's within those other tutorials. Um, Linda Ann said, I need to finish a project before I start another or I become overwhelmed. I do too. And I find myself still doing it. I actually kind of like having two. I like sort of having like a almost a mindless crochet project. Like this one actually is pretty mindless because I know exactly how to do it. I don't have to look at, the pattern or anything. I can just work on it. Um, and then I usually like to have an amigurumi. So I like to just kind of bounce back and forth. Um, What's your favorite cotton blend? Um, One of my favorite cotton blends is Happy Place. That's Tony Lipsy from TL Yarn Crafts. That's her yarn. It's 50% cotton, 50% wool, and it is a dream to work with. I absolutely fell in love with that yarn. Trying to think if it's a DK weight. I don't remember what the weight of it is, but it's a little bit lighter, and it's just a gorgeous yarn. It's with Hobie. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Sometimes I hear people say Hobie, some just say hobby. I've heard hubby. I've heard all different, you know, different ones. Oh, okay, my daughter Megan just said, "Mom, we got some nursing kittens. Going to pick them up now. Call me after you're live." Okay, so let me just share a little bit about what's been going on. I've had a very dramatic week this week. I will be honest. This has been let me know if you've had a week like this. Um it's just been like kind of one thing after another. But my daughter Megan is animal crazy like I am, and she just is renting this cute little house with her husband. It's their first little house together, and they found a mama cat. Well, they found several cats, but there was one mama with kittens, and she called me today crying because she didn't think that they thought that the little kittens were gone, and they searched for them, could not find them. They thought the mom had been bringing the kittens by, but anyway, she wanted to let me know that they found the kittens. So, oh, no, she said, "We got some nursing kittens." Oh, no, that's a completely different thing. They didn't find the original kittens, but they are getting kittens so that the mama can nurse them because she's getting really swollen. You probably don't wanna know all this, but this is what has been going on in my life, so, okay, um, okay, let's see, oh, wow, "Hi, Elise and fellow crocheters, love from the Isle of Man." Wow, um, yes, my daughter crochets, that's the daughter with the cat drama going on, yes, um okay, somebody's asking about which compression gloves are good for crocheting with, for our wrists. I did try a pair, and I thought they were okay. I think that that may end up being, a trial and error kind of a thing, or maybe buy a couple of different sets, and then take back the ones that don't work. Um, okay. Allison said, "Don't know if you've been asked this before, but what is your advice for someone who wants to start 10 or more projects at a time?" I'll be honest, I don't have any advice for that because, that would be incredibly overwhelming to me. I know that I personally would not be able to handle doing a lot of now, I guess I should clarify. Now, if you are doing this like you're preparing for a market and you're going to be selling them, I would be doing them assembly line style. So, like, if I had to make 10 little leggy frogs, I would be whipping those out assembly line, like do leg, leg, leg. I would do it like that. But if I was just doing 10 personal projects, that would be very overwhelming for me. Um, oh, yeah, somebody said Trish said, "I really liked when you sent your hubby on the scavenger hunt for secret yarn for you to try. Will you do that again? Have him go get you some twine or string or cord, anything goes. Would love to see." That would be a fun idea. And my husband is so game to do whatever I want him to do. He's like, "Sure, I'll do it." I'm like, "Okay." Um Okay, somebody else, Jennifer Lopez. Are you that Jennifer Lopez? Said, watched your husband use his tool to look at hooks. That was so cool. Yes, he has something called a profilometer. So if some of you haven't seen that video, it looks at surface roughness of metals. And we looked at this was for the Woobles video, and then I did it on another video. But the Woobles video was the first one that we did this, and you can see how smooth metal is. And it was actually so incredibly interesting because the Woobles hook was horrible. I knew it was horrible because I kept thinking, "What's he doing?" And I couldn't let him just keep crocheting. I kept taking the hook and the yarn from him, and I tried it, and I thought, "Wait, something's not right." And I grabbed, I think it was a Clover Amour, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this crochet hook is terrible." And that's when my husband said, "You want to look at it under the profilometer?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And we looked at it, and yeah, it was not a good crochet hook. There was so much roughness on that metal, and for me, I love a really smooth metal crochet hook. Um, Aw. Morgan said, "Do you have your own favorite fiber artist you enjoy watching the way we all love you?" That is so sweet. Um, I love Tony Lipsy of TL Yarn Crafts. I just think that she's one of the most talented crochet designers, crocheters, edutainment YouTube channels. She's just wonderful. I've gotten to meet her in person before, and the thing that really struck me about Tony was that she was as kind in person as she seems to be on camera. Um, I was at H&H Americas, not this past year, but the year before is when I got to meet her, and it was so interesting because this is a huge craft trade show. There are thousands of people, and she and I were walking somewhere, and she would get, like, 5 feet, and somebody would come over and say, "Tony, can I get a picture with you?" And she was so gracious. She would stop and talk to people. So she she's she's like my hero in so many ways. I just love her. Another person that I really love is, Beth from Betty McKnit. Um, I know her in real life, and she is the kindest, just just warm, funny. She is so funny. I just love her. Um What's my favorite thing to crochet? Well, it's amigurumi, to be honest. I love it so much. I crochet other things, but I always come back to amigurumi. Interesting, brick by brick. I'm a knitter. Going from knitting to crochet is a challenge too. I'm that that's really interesting. I had not really thought of it from that perspective before. I just thought, "Oh, you already know how to knit. It'll be an easy, switch to crochet," but that's really interesting. Um How do you only keep one whip? I don't keep one whip. I always have more than one whip, or at least now I do. I used to could only do one whip, but now I end up with many. I only have 2 right now. Um, yeah. Okay, Samantha said, "What's your favorite crochet hook and what is your favorite crochet project?" My favorite crochet hook currently, and I use this one for amigurumi, it's the Addy Comfort Grip. So Addy is a very well-known knitting company. They make knitting needles, but the Addy Comfort Grip is I love this crochet hook, specifically for amigurumi, but I think I only have it in the really small sizes, but I've thought about getting a couple more in larger sizes to see if I like it just as much. What I like about it is that it's a good bit longer than the Clover Amour hooks. I love Clover Amour hooks, but the Addy is longer and it also has a longer neck. So from the head to the neck, and then it has like a harder plastic handle. but I really like how long the metal neck is, and it's very smooth, and it has a fairly, pointed head, and I really like that for amigurumi, but it's a great hook, and I would say I think it's about the same price as a Clover Amour. Um, Knitting takes more headspace, at least for me. Me too. Me too. Knitting requires a lot of thinking on my part, whereas crochet is a little more mindless for me. I know your favorite to do is amigurumi. What is your second favorite? I would say blankets. I really like blankets, but my goal this year is to finally make some type of granny square cardigan. I really want to do that. Do you choose different yarn brands for your projects? Cat Rescuer asked. I'm going to assume that you mean different yarn brands within the same project, and I typically don't do that. Um, Unless I'm doing something like a scrap blanket. I did make a scrap blanket last year. I used everything I had, and that was fantastic. That was a lot of fun. But most of the time, I try to stay with the same brand. I just like that I know that everything is the same size and it all works. Um, have you tried mosaic crochet before? I have not, but one of my friends, Erin Taves from Juniper and Oaks, she is a big mosaic crocheter. Um, let me keep looking through here. I think I've gotten really behind on the comments. Oh, somebody said, I don't buy patterns on Etsy unless I know the designer. That's from Brat's mom. Yeah, anymore, it's really hard. Now, I do feel a little bit more comfortable doing that on Ravelry because at this point, I seriously doubt AI is going to infiltrate Ravelry because when you have to put in sell a pattern on Ravelry, it's a little more involved than just doing it on Etsy. Um, Yay. Oh, finished Mr. Humphrey dressed him like my husband for his 75th birthday. It was such a fun project. Adorable creations from Elise. That's so fun. I've been getting so I have Mr. Humphrey right here, my little Mr. Humphrey. I have been getting so many pictures of Mr. Humphrey and so many people making him. It just makes me so happy. So many people saying, I made him for my dad, I made him for my husband, and I just think that's so fun. He's very special to me. Um, okay, I've gotten so behind on the comments. Oh my goodness. Okay, somebody asked the horror fan X, do you have any insight into the Michaels Joann's merge? Now that Joann's closed, is Michaels going to expand their yarn and fabric? Are they going open a Super Michaels? That's a really good question, and I have a video saved, and I think it's from a sewing channel on YouTube, and they talked about so if you're not familiar, Michaels bought the rights to the intellectual property of Joanne, and so it'll be really interesting because Joanne had a lot of, patterns and different things like that, so I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, but I'm hoping that that video, um, you might look that up on YouTube and that sewing channel may be, they may have more information, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens because a large there was a large gap left with Joanne leaving, and I think, at least for me, my local Michaels is just it's just okay. They have some yarn, but it's not great, and the Hobby Lobby is just I don't know, they only have their yarn. So I keep getting text messages. Alright, there we go. Um, Brick by Brick. Oh, I did not know there was a book using Pika-Pow. Yes, she has 3 different Pika-Pow books. They're wonderful. That girl, Anastasia, just started a small business and would love to hear some tips to get more customers. Wow, that I mean, it's hard. It's really hard starting a business, and, if you've just started, there's just so much to learn. I think it would just depend on if you're doing a crochet business. If so, I would look into Pam Grice, the crochetpreneur. She is fantastic. She's really she has so many free resources to help you get started and to just start thinking about running a business. It's a really she's very, very helpful. Um, Cindy, am I the only one that has difficulty with the weight of furls? No, I don't think you are because I think that you either love a weighted hook or you hate it. So some people just don't like that feeling. I happen to love that weighted feel of the hook, but I know that there are a lot of other people who don't. And I also think it depends on how you hold your hook. Um, yeah, yay. So many people from all over the place. That's so wonderful. Um, Tracy said, "How do I make my arms and legs even size for my amigurumi?" One tip that I like to do, because this is so frustrating, is that if you can make them both before you attach them, that can actually be really good. And that way you can put them side by side. Because sometimes, even if you're counting the rows. Sometimes even though you have the exact same rows, they look a little bit different, and that can also be tension issues. Sometimes you've stretched it out a little bit, but I would put them up next to one another and make sure that they're exactly the same size. I think this thing keeps putting my, comments back up high. I don't know what it's doing. I keep saying the same comment, so I think it's anyway, you don't need to know that. Oh, I just invested in the clover on more hooks after 20 years crocheting pretty much due to your recommendation. Those are such fantastic hooks. They are so good. And every time I convince somebody to finally try them, they're always like my daughter, it's like, "Oh my goodness, these really are amazing." Um, okay, so Gina said, "Do you have any suggestion for learning to follow crochet charts? They don't make sense to me like knitting charts do." So, I'm trying to think who had that video. I think it may be Hooked by Robin. It's either Hooked by Robin or Play Hooky with Me has a video on how to read crochet charts, because I think for some things, crochet charts are so much easier, especially when it's like a granny square. It's a very detailed square shape, or maybe it's floral or it has all kinds of different stitches in there. The crochet charts are so much easier than reading all of those words. So it's Play Hooky with Me, and I would look up her video. Lily Marie, every time I go to Michael's, they are running low on yarn. I feel like they were not prepared for the demand they would get after Joann's closing. I think you're right. Where's a good place to find a variety of eyeglasses sizes for amigurumi? So I've purchased them on Amazon and I have found them on Etsy. So those are, they'll always have the measurements. So maybe if you know the size that you want, you can look them up. So they'll have them for the two most common sizes are Barbie sizes. I think these are Barbie size glasses. Um, Oh, my other ones are over there. But you can also get some for 18-inch dolls. That's another size that's pretty common that you can get eyeglasses for. Um, Judith said, "Any tips for making wearables that fit well?" Um, I don't do a lot of wearables, um, but what I did learn about, when I knitted a cardigan is the importance of doing a gauge swatch. Like, that is absolutely critical to get that fit. You have to make sure to do a gauge swatch and take that time in the beginning. Um, I'm sure there are a lot more tips. That's just the most basic one that I could give, but there'll be a lot better tips from other people who make garments. I'm sure that Tony Lipsy would be a great resource because she is a garment making queen. Um, oh, wow. Allison said, "Hello, I'm from North Carolina. My son also has epilepsy, and I crocheted while spending a lot of time in the hospital with him. I don't feel so alone since finding you. Thank you for everything." Oh, yes. We have a lot in common, obviously. I have a son with epilepsy, and it's been a bit of a rough week for him. We've had a lot of bumps in the road this week. Hopefully things will be better next week, but it really is such a challenging disease. It's not, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Um, so many good. Just watched a video from Tiffany Hansen where she has a worksheet to help you know how much yarn you need. That is such a great tip. Thank you for sharing that, Beth. Tiffany Hansen is Crochet with Tiffany on YouTube. She's amazing. Um, Hello from New Zealand. Who is your favorite fiber artist? Probably Tony Lipsy of TL Yarn Crafts. See, I think this is the same one that I see. I think I'm messing up on the comments. I'm doing something wrong. Oh, oh no. Stitch Itch said, sorry, heavy storms moving through. Have to go. Oh goodness, I hope everything's okay. Any easy crochet patterns for teens? My daughter Molly, who turns 15 tomorrow, is new to crocheting, and I'm always looking for patterns that are easy but trendy for her. Okay, so there is a young woman on YouTube called, I'm gonna probably pronounce her name incorrectly, but Mahum, Mahum. And she has the cutest, like super trendy young woman, like that 15-year-old girl. Like she has really, really adorable crochet projects with lots of tutorials. So I would definitely check out her. Okay, somebody said Hobie is pronounced hobby. Okay, okay. See, I watched, they have a video on their YouTube channel for how to pronounce it, and I feel like everybody said it differently. I was more confused after watching that video for how to pronounce it. Um, oh, I'm working on Hooked by Robin Chevron with pom pom border. Thanks for the suggestion. That is such a fun. That's so much fun. Um, okay, okay. Play Hooky with Me has a video to calculate the amount of yarn needed. That's amazing. Okay, so that's so good to know. Do you find it hard to crochet when it's hot outside in the summertime? I would say I probably don't. I'm not super interested in crocheting some heavy, big, heavy blanket, something like that, but smaller projects. I still love to crochet. It doesn't matter what the weather is. I still want to crochet. Okay, let me go down to these comments because there is something going on with this comment section. Um, Do you have a video on how to make a gauge swatch? I don't, but there are so many other ones. A gauge swatch is you are just going to make a small, you want it to be 4 inches by 4 inches. I think that's maybe 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And you want to use the stitch let me see if I can say that that the designer is using in the project. Most of the time, in the pattern, it will say exactly how to make the gauge swatch, and then you need to count your stitches and your rows to see if they match what the designer has as her gauge or his gauge. And I used to get really freaked out about this, like, oh my gosh, how do I make a gauge swatch? What if I do it wrong? And what I just realized was if your gauge is off, and your stitches are too big and you have too few stitches or rows, you need to go down in crochet hook size. If you have too many, that means your stitches are too small and you need to go up in crochet hook size. So it's just a matter of finding the yarn that you're using and your crochet hook plus your tension, and the way that you crochet is going to equal your gauge. And so it just takes a little playing around. And if you just kind of get that in your mind that your first step is to make that gauge swatch. And now I don't do a gauge swatch unless fit matters, like the size of something matters. Otherwise, I'm not going to worry about it for a blanket or for an amigurumi project or a home decor. I'm not worrying about it. But if I want something to fit correctly, I'm definitely making a gauge swatch. But there are also lots of videos on YouTube for how to do that, and I would definitely check those out. Yes. Um, How many of the Pika Pal patterns have you made? I should actually, I should count that up because I made a bunch of the frog. That's back when I was selling. I would crochet amigurumi toys and I would sell them. That was kind of in the beginning of my journey. And I don't even know how many of the frog I made. And what I started doing, it was so fun. If you look back on my Instagram, you can scroll like getting close to the bottom. I would put little tutus, I'd turn them into little girls, and they were so cute. I wish I still had some of them. Um, those were so much fun, but I gave away and sold so many of them, but I made a lot from the first book. The second book, I think I only did the duck, or maybe it was I made the lobster, I made the duck from the other 2 books, but I made a lot of the Pika Pau animals from the first book. What ergonomic hooks do you recommend? I love Clover Amour. I would consider those an ergonomic hook, and I do love Furls. I feel like those are just fantastic hooks. Um Sandra said, "What do you think about the chunky yarn craze from the Bronx, New York, originally from Kingston, Jamaica?" Um, I I appreciate the chunky yarn craze. I appreciate projects that are made with it. Um, some of the cutest amigurumi toys are made with that chenille, chunky chenille yarn, but I personally don't enjoy working with it as much. Um, I don't know what it is about it, I just like a thinner yarn, but like I said, what I get obsessed with usually will change, so maybe eventually I will, but I love the way it looks, I just personally don't like working with it quite as much as I think other people do. Um oh, no, somebody keeps getting ads, that is terrible. Hello from Singapore. Oh, that's amazing. I lived in Singapore when I was little. Oh, Lee Sartori for wearables. Yep, that is so true. Oh, yeah, Sam. Sam said, I need to hop out. It's 2 a.m. here. Yes, please, please go to bed. Oh, yes. Brittany from Bee Hooked also has a beautiful channel. She has so many. She's one of my favorites. Um, does the weighted hook help with how hard you hold the hook? I think it does. It definitely does for me. It helps me to ease my tension a little bit. I feel like I'm not gripping it. I do think there's something about the weighted hook that actually it definitely has helped me with that. Well, I think we are ending our time here, everybody, but I am just so thankful that we didn't have any tech issues this time. I will figure out what the issue is with the ads. I'm so sorry that that happened. We shouldn't have ads during the middle of a live. But I just want to thank you all for being here today. And I just am so, when I look through the comment section, it just, everybody is so positive and just helping each other out. And I think that's so wonderful and giving each other advice. And I just really, really appreciate every single person. You guys are, I feel like we're friends. And it's just wonderful to get to sit and chat with you on a Friday night because I'm the biggest homebody on the planet. And I don't go anywhere. So it's nice to feel like, we have like a little crochet date. I'm thinking about possibly doing these once a month. I'm enjoying them, especially now that I'm not all flustered because of tech issues. That was like a dream. So I would love to know if other people would like to do it once a month. So, but I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great weekend and that you get some fun crochet time and that the weather is not too hot where you are. But bye, everybody. Good night.